Welcome back. Now we're going to get into our week one team selections. Jason, what is your squad looking like going into the start of the season?
I think I've finally settled on my team. I've been tinkering for about a month now, I feel like. And yeah, I don't feel 100% set on it, but I think that might be because I've had every single player on my team at one point or another. So yeah, in goal, I have Melier from Leeds. In the back, I'm big at the back. I have five back there with Trent, Robbo, Perisic, and then Cancelo and Walker. In the mids, I have Salah, Martinelli, and Jack. And then up front, I have Jesus and Kane. And then on the bench, I've moved to Klaasian, the Leeds backup. And then my bench are Bailey, Andreas Pereira, and Archer, um, all from Villa. So, yeah, I guess the biggest thing to notice is I have the five at the back. And my whole team outside of my goalie are made up of Liverpool, City, Arsenal, and Spurs players. Just really focusing on good teams. A lot of the good teams have very good fixtures early on. A lot of the bad teams have really bad fixtures. I think I can see myself moving to some of those cheaper forwards later on, but just their fixtures are so tough right now. Um, I guess the first thing I looked at was my premiums. So looking at Mo and Kane, just looking at those first 6, 7 weeks, they really rotate really well. There's always one that I'm happy to captain. Um, and a lot of my team was built around I'm probably going to wild card in the first 7-ish weeks. So no one is super locked into my team for the rest of the year. I don't have a ton of flexibility. I have zero in the bank, but I do feel comfortable dropping any of my five at the back to a 4.0 guy, and starting Bailey for a week and then potentially moving from there on. So if there is potentially a player that is going to be dropping in price, specifically looking at like Perisic, maybe Kane if I need to switch to Holland. I'm not super tied to Walker or Jack either, but I'm okay dropping one of those players, starting Bailey for a week, and then using that cash the week after. Um, yeah, that's overall my team, my early strategy. I have the Leeds double F and keeper right now. I'm a little scared of the Leicester situation. Ward's ownership has jumped to about 20%. Um, so yeah, that's where I'm at. And then Archer's my favorite 4.5 forward.
All right. Was your midfield Salah, Martinelli, Grealish?
That's right. Yeah. Sorry. I only refer to Grealish as Jack.
I was,
Just from other podcasts I listen to. I like it.
okay. So I'm just doing the math, and it looks like we have five players. We both have five players on our team that are the same.
Okay.
And I find that interesting because season, I feel like it was kind of a similar scenario where we didn't necessarily have the same teams, but we both did pretty well. So I think that's always fun. You can if there's different styles to get to the same kind of result.
Yeah.
Um, so I'll go through my team now. So at the back, I'm starting with Robert Sanchez. Um, for me, it was between him and Raya, and I just like him a little bit more. The save potentials there, so I'm going to go
Mhm.
with him. At the back, I am also going five, but just a different five. I have Trent, Cancelo, um, Eric Dyer, Gabriel from Arsenal, and then Kyle Walker. So we got
Yeah.
three the same at the back.
Yeah.
I'm just going a little different with a couple other guys. And then in the midfield, I'm going to go with four guys. So I got Salah, Kuliashevsky, Jaden Sancho, Aronson from Leeds, and then Andres Pereira as my bench mid. And then up top, I just have one, Harry Kane,
Okay.
starting. So then that leaves my bench. My goalie is Ward.
Yeah.
And then first I have, I'm going to pronounce his name wrong, Awaniwi, the Nottingham Forest striker.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have him. I have Brian Mbuemo,
Oh, Buemo. Yeah. Yeah.
Buemo from Brentford, and then Pereira in the third spot. Um, like you, tinkering with my team a lot up
Oh,
until this afternoon. Before recording this, I had Martial as my second striker,
yeah.
and then now there's news that he's going to um, potential or most likely to miss week 1 with a hamstring injury. So then I was like, I wanted to have one Man United guy. So I was like, well, do I go Sancho or Rashford? And I'm a little more comfortable with Sancho,
Hmm.
so I decided to go that way. And then I changed my I just kind of played with my money and then ended up I had Botman for a while, the 4.5 defender from Newcastle, which um, I switched to Gabriel. I thought I
Yeah.
wanted to have some exposure to the Arsenal defense,
Yeah.
so I kind of went with that. And then yeah, I'm taking some risks. I feel with the 6 mil forwards, but I just uh, they're so. I found this one stat about the forwards I was looking up. There's 6 forwards that are owned over 10%. So many of your big guys, Holland, Jesus, Kane, Vardy, and then there's only 10 forwards owned over 5%. So I feel like there's so much
Mm.
dive, like so much difference in selection that nobody really knows what's going on with the forwards. So I thought, let me take a bet on a couple guys, and hopefully one of them hits. And I was a little afraid to get Mitrovic because I had him in my lineup for a while, but I was afraid. I'm a little nervous of having two Fulham attackers. I don't want to have to, I don't necessarily like rely on them week in week out, or my bench is purely Fulham. So um, decided to go with Buemo over him.
Yeah. So, well, the first thing that stands out to me is you have 3 playing bench players.
Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah. So, are you planning to like rotate whoever has the best fixture between, I'm guessing, Aronson, Pereira, Ayuemi, Mbuemo, maybe even Gabriel? Like, is that what you're kind of thinking? Yeah.
yeah. I, I don't know. Maybe it's not the best rationale, but I don't feel comfortable having like pure bench fodder
Yeah.
every week. I like having that comfort that I know that for whatever reason, if Sancho or Walker gets rotated out, that I have someone who's starting to replace them.
Yeah.
So that was really my thought process there, and also frees up potentially transfers down the line where I could do like have bank a transfer and then go way down with a forward or something or way down with a
Yeah.
defender and kind of upgrade somewhere if one of those like 6.5, 7 middle midfielders performs really, really well. I can bring them in and not really stress about it too much.
Yeah. I'm just thinking because you have two 6 mil forwards, right?
Yeah, two 6 mil forwards.
So just like hypothetically, just like your thought process. So say you dropped one of those for 4.5, you still have a bench option forward if for some reason because you have to have at least one playing forward. So say
Yeah,
Kane is hurt or whatever. Um, if you were to spend that mil and a half somewhere else, I guess what's Aronson? Is he five and a
five.
half?
He's 5.5. So that's where I'm just thinking I can go if like Rashford is playing really well after a few weeks, I can
Yeah.
go up to him. Or if I'm not happy with Sancho and one of those 8 mil guys like Diaz,
Yeah.
because right now I only have two Liverpool guys. If he scores a few goals in the first couple weeks, then I can
Hmm.
make that switch. Um, I just didn't know what to do with my forwards, and I feel like that's like I'm not spending too much money on them, but I'm also not just picking those bottom tier guys.
Yeah. 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 Makes sense.
Okay. Well, I've got a question for you about your defense. It's pretty stacked. It's very stacked.
Very stacked.
So I had a similar-ish defense for a while. I had Robertson in my team for a while, but I ended up taking him out. So what is your thought process picking him over James or Cash or Trippier or one of those other wing backs?
Yeah. So I'm avoiding Chelsea right now. That's one of the things. I think Liverpool is such a good team, so I really want 3 of them. And I think Robertson potentially got more. I think I'm quite sure he'll get more assists, and I don't think he'll get as many goals as Diaz, but I think he'll get a couple, and then he's going to get a ton of cleans. I just think Robbo, there was like those pictures that were surfacing that he was further forward than Diaz in a lot of games. Um, I just think he is better at 7 mil than any other player is at 7 mil. I think he's better than like Jack Grealish. I think he's better than Coutinho. I think he's better than Tony. So I just think that's a good way to spend my 7 mil. So that's where Robbo comes in.
Okay.
Perisic is a bit of a scary one. I think he's like a high upside, but I do expect him to get subbed every game. I do think he'll start over Sessegnon if he gets subbed before 60 or after 60. I think that's going to be the big
Yeah.
question. But I think he potentially has, if he plays the same amount of minutes as every other defender, I think he finishes with the most goals assists combo. I just do. I think he's going to finish with the most goals in the defender's spot. I think he is a 8 million midfielder priced as a 5.5 defender. I
Okay.
think that's where he is. So I think he looked amazing in our preseason game. I just expect him to be potentially one of the best players in the league. And then I have Walker in there just because everyone has Cancelo. So I need some way of benefiting from a City clean sheet over the field. So I just wanted a second guy in there, and I think until the wild card, Walker will play. Um, Especially that missing out on Kukurea, Zinchenko's gone. I think Walker's pretty nailed. So
Yep.
at least until Champions League, which is I think I'll wild card right around when Champions League starts.
Okay. Yeah. Last year I had Robertson. I think I got him in around week 30, and he was even this season he's only 12.5% owned. So
Yeah.
he's going to be a difference maker in the first few games if they get clean sheets or he gets
Hmm.
assists. And that might be my last decision when we finish this. Is there a way that I can work him in?
Yeah.
Because yeah, it's just so kind of simple and easy to have those top three defenders, and
Hmm.
then if Trent doesn't get an assist, Robertson's going to get an assist pretty much each
Yeah.
game, and that's a nice kind of luxury to have. Um,
He is just like you have Dyer and Gabriel in there, so those are like good teams, but 2 mil's a big jump.
yeah,
So it's even if you moved one of Mbuma or Ayumeni to a 4.5, you still don't have enough. Do you have any in the bank?
no, I don't. So I'd have to go from like Walker to a 4.5, and then go from a 6 to a 4.5 forward,
Yeah.
and then I could do it, or get rid of or change out Sancho for a 7 mil.
Or how so the most interesting player in your whole team is Aronson.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot about him on Reddit.
Yeah.
So he played for Marsh. He's American, so I can't really like him. But he's looked really well, really creative, a lot of flair,
Mhm.
and he's just 1.1% owned.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the
Great
5.5.
fixtures.
Yeah, I'm looking at the 5.5s, and it's like Ramsey, or do I go 5 and go to Bailey or
Hmm.
Fred? But I just kind of settled on he could be a difference maker for me, and I want to take a risk on somebody. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how I came to land on him being in my squad.
Cool. I think that's good. Yeah, you're touching on all the teams. I guess the one other thing is both of us completely avoided Chelsea.
Yeah, I'm not. Last year, I think I last year I played with them a little bit more. I had Rudiger for a lot, but of the
Yeah.
season, like, he was really solid. But then for some weeks I had Mount, and
Yeah.
I was just kind of frustrating to own. And I don't know. I just don't plan on watching many. We've talked about this before. I just don't plan on watching too many Chelsea games.
Hmm.
So um, I just yeah don't have a lot of confidence in them. Just
Yeah,
avoid, and
because
especially if they're going to get Cucurella. I know it's not a done deal yet, then that really messes with the wingback situation. So
yeah, the wingbacks are tricky because I almost think if Kukurea goes there, I think he's just going to play left center back. I think Chilwell will still play left wing back and he'll play left center back. Um, but it's a super weird team. I think I agree. I kind of want to see them play first. I want to see them settle into a starting 11. I think Mount if anybody I was going to go to, it's him.
Yeah,
I kind of think Mount is the best 8.0 mid. Just because I know he's going to get 10 goals and 10 assists this year. I know
yeah,
he's going to be on pens. I know he's good. Um, but I don't know. I don't know when that's going to start. And they play Spurs week 2. They
that's a big
play
game.
Leicester and West Ham pretty early as well. So their fixtures are solid. Not necessarily as good as, say, City or Liverpool or even Spurs, but yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking with my forwards as well. The other 6.0 options are like Solanke, but he's has like a tough matchups to start the season.
Terrible to
So
start, yeah.
so I'm like kind of wanted to go with him, and then even Mitrovic has a few like a lot of red games in the first 7. He's got Liverpool, Arsenal, Spurs, and Chelsea. So the just the options there were kind of dwindling, and then the 5.5s. This is where I spent the most time thinking. I like Denny's Undav from Brighton, but
Yeah,
I don't know. It's unclear. I can't get a straight answer on where he is in the depth charts.
yeah.
I know he's below Welbeck, but but I get
The
conflicting
Mope.
reports on if he's above or below Mope.
Hmm.
And then even then, it's like second striker. That's the one I guess I'll watch him. And then yeah, I guess Archer would be that 4.5 option. Is he gonna get? Is he just coming off the bench?
Yeah, so I've been trying to look a lot into Villa and see what's going on there. So right now he's their third striker, behind Ings and Watkins.
Okay.
Probably Watkins then Ings. There's a bit of question of what formation they're going to play, if they're going to play 2 at the top or 1. If they play 2 at the top, Archer might be subbing into every game.
Okay.
If they play 1 at the top, he's probably not going to play in any games. Um, so it gets tricky, but he is probably going to be in the squad lineup every week as a
Okay.
4.5 forward. That's pretty good. Um, I think he is for sure the best 4.5, mainly because Greenwood's ownership's so high,
Yeah.
and there's the risk of price drops. That actually brings us to a question: how much did price drops or price rises, which is to do with ownership, play a role in any of your decisions?
It did for my 8 mil forward because when I first made my team, I had Diaz in it, and I was pretty set on
eight
him
eight
for a
mid.
long time. Yeah, eight
Yeah.
mid. I was set on him for a long time, but now his ownership keeps creeping up. It's at 22% now,
Mm.
and then I can picture week 2 or week 3 when Jota's back, and then for whatever some reason it's Jota, Nunez, and Salah starting or something like that, and I
Yeah.
just don't want to have to deal with that or just him. I know he's got really good fitness, but him coming off the bench or not off the bench, but being subbed out. I'm just wanted to. I know Kulishevsky and Richarlison, Son are going to be kind of 3 rotating guys, but I don't know. He looked really good last season, and I expect him to improve and get plenty of assists with those good kind of fixtures right at the start. Outside of that Chelsea game, they have a bunch of good games. So um, yeah, that was the big one. And then Jesus, I don't have him, which is my kind of my biggest, I
Yeah.
think, the thing I'm most exposed to because he's at. I keep
70
seeing it
something,
every day. He's over 75% owned,
which is insane.
75.3 as of right now, which I'm pretty sure is the highest any player has ever been. It's more than Mo Salah was. I don't know if it was last season or the season before, which is
Yeah.
crazy.
I do think it's a mispricing. I do think he should be,
9.5.
yeah, in that range. But I'm worried about him too, because I feel like all it takes is him to not score in the first game, and
And
he will
he'll
drop,
plummet.
and he will drop in price. Even if
Yeah,
his ownership drops to 60%,
yeah,
that's still 15% of people are dropping him.
yeah.
So I'm going to be very quick to jump off of him, but and that's what I think goes into my factor early on. I will care about price drops early on
Yes.
in the season, and I'll be willing to make transfers early. COVID's a little bit less of an issue, so I don't think we have to wait till the last minute for that. So uh, he's one. Perisic is another. That are just guys that I'm watching based on their ownership and potential price drops early on, and that I'm not super tied to. I kind of want Jesus just so because I do think he's a good pick,
Yeah.
and I it'll just kill us if he scores and we don't have him.
Yeah. So that's a big risk that I'm taking. So I feel like we're good here. I feel like we've had a good conversation. We've kind of started to tease transfer our eye for transfers after week one. We're looking forward to the season. Starts tomorrow. Arsenal versus Crystal Palace. Um, I'm going to be downtown, so I'm going to be watching on my phone maybe, or just keeping up with the score. But Man U plays Sunday morning, and when does Tottenham play? Saturday
It
afternoon.
plays Saturday morning. It's the first time we've played a Saturday 10 o'clock game, and I feel like forever. But we play Southampton at home, so it's a
Okay,
pretty good fixture for
and
us.
one last thing, captain week one.
Who do you have?
I have Kane.
So I've been back and forth for a long time. I currently have it on Salah. It's not for sure going to be there, but I had it on Kane up until today.
Okay, I've got Kane captain, Sal Vice. That's what
Yeah.
I'm going. I don't want to wake up at 7:30 on Saturday to watch the Liverpool game, so
No.
that's kind of factoring into it as well. Um,
Fair.
but yeah, I'm really excited. I'm super excited for the season to film more episodes of this and just get back to watching soccer. I miss it. Waking up every on the weekend, just starting each day with some soccer.
Couldn't agree more. Looking forward to it.
All right, thanks for listening, everyone. See you next week.